Good afternoon and welcome to Talking Bollocks part 66. So, yeah, I did do it the right way around. I'm getting quite good, I think, after 66 times of writing out different things, of writing backwards. It is Thursday, June the 4th, 2020. I had a visit today. Hang on, I forgot to pick something up before you started. So this is my certificate today. Otani Budo Schools. This is to certify that I have been awarded the second grade, which is second Q in Budo, which is really cool. Our Shihan, our master teacher, dropped them off today to myself and Smallest, and we got our Otani Budo Schools, which is a dragonfly, which is really cool. It's the anniversary on Saturday of Otani even, get my teeth back in, who is one of our teachers and one of our lineage. So it's cool to have the t-shirts in time and receive our certificates, which is quite nice. Yeah, it's weird to think that not only 2 years ago, January 2018 is when I started, and Little started a couple of months later. So it's strange to think that we're only a year and a half now from grading our black belts, but I guess it's not so much I guess, because I know that's what hard work, perseverance, and keep on going, because I've realised that I've kept going when there's been some real serious shit going down, and I've appreciated the space. Sometimes we want to think about things and talk about things, and other times we don't. And so when you're practicing a martial art, I feel like you have some space to concentrate on something else, and the brain is doing something else. It's quite important, and it's beautiful. It's a lovely thing to learn. What else have I done today? The cat went to the vets today, which entailed me. I didn't press the buzzer because there was people on the ramp, and you're not supposed to be waiting at the ramp at the vets. So a woman pressed the buzzer, booked her in, and then the vet phoned me to discuss her. I then went and took the cat and put her on the ramp, and then they collected her and took her in, and then we discussed her some more. She's not very happy with me, and she sort of laid on me for sort of 5 minutes when we got back, but now seems to have a major frickin' hump, because she had to have two blood tests and one on her leg. So they had to shave part of her leg, and they had to shave part of her sort of like upper chest area, neck area. She has lost weight apparently since the last time she went. Not an awful amount, only 400 grams, but enough in a cat to kind of be, oh, okay, something's going on here. And she's not eating dry food. They've checked her mouth and stuff. I mean, it could be that she's just being a fussy bitch and not actually freaking eating the dry food, because she knows that she's been unwell, or there's something else going on. So I think they're going to check her for thyroid. If I don't hear from the vet this afternoon, because they're doing 2 tests, they have to send one away. But we'll see what happens and see what her care is. Just kind of, she scratched me because she was trying to, when I knew that I'd have to wait for a bit, I put me and her in the back of the car, where I never sit, obviously, because it's my car, I'm always driving it. And she kept on putting her paw out the cage door, grabbing the material. And for a while, she was just holding my hand with her paw, which is super cute. And then she started scratching again. Unfortunately, my hand was still there, so she scratched me instead. But that's okay. It's not very nice, I think, for them at all. You can explain to people. You can't explain to animals it's for their own good. So you just have to do it anyway and sort of get on with it. While I was waiting in the car, I did a sort of few little pay bills and admin things, but I also did something that I spoke about the last few days, and that is I've started, I wanted physical books because I've realised that I've sort of gone off reading it a little bit recently, and that's probably because I'm reading it on a Kindle on my phone, and there's nothing like reading, paper. So I've bought 3 books, and I've had to write them on a piece of paper. Obviously I haven't received them yet. I thought I fucked off Amazon because it's Amazon, and so I bought them for Waterstones, and I'm hoping that Waterstones is a bit of a better company. I'm sure there are somebody out there that can correct me if I'm wrong. I've bought Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. I've also bought Me and White Supremacy, and I've bought Natives, Race and Class. One of those is by Akala. The last one is by Akala, the poet, he's an amazing speaker, writer, obviously, and because I didn't want to just learn about US race relations, I also wanted to learn about British. I've read quite a lot the last few days, and I will continue to read and continue to learn. I've signed a petition today as well, on Change, about not selling riot gear, I think, and rubber bullets to the US. Why the fuck rubber bullets actually exist, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, and so I bought 3 books, and then I will continue each time that I've read these books, thought about them, maybe discussed it with people, to then get more and learn, because I do think that we need to learn about what made this world where we're at, what made it, where does it come from. There are some articles that I read about Britain being responsible, and all the people that went to America and created the American state, that the racism started here. And I do think that's probably true. I do think that's true. Actually, not probably true. I think empire has a lot to do with it. The rape and pillage of all colonial type stuff, I think, has gone down and down and down in history. And when we don't repair something properly and don't go through a restorative process and just go, okay, it's in the past, it's done, we don't get to choose when that happens for the people that have benefited that system, and B, it has to actually happen in order to move forward and for the system to get better. I think it's a long road, but I do think a restorative process actually has to happen before we can move forward. And I believe part of the restorative process is education, teaching riddle history, teaching what came before, what is this world made of. Britain was a superpower. I don't believe it is anymore. And what that actually means, those words sound great, don't they, when we're talking about a superhero? But actually, do we want our country to be a superpower? Because actually what a superpower means is, I don't know, is it owning the best nuclear weapons? Is it being the richest country in the world? Is it taking things from other countries? Because you don't get rich. Money is created. It didn't exist in some societies. The barter system existed. People only took what they needed. Where did we get so far from that? I know I like buying nice new shiny things. That's certainly true. But there's something wrong, isn't there? There's something wrong when a restorative process hasn't gone through. If we think of our brains like the world, my brain was broken a few years ago with mental health issues, a complex PTSD. It's not a secret. Lots of people know that I had it. And I had to go through a restorative process that wasn't like walking on fucking marshmallows wearing fairy wings. There was nothing about it that was marshmallows and nothing about it that was fairy wings. It was blood, guts, tears, fears, nightmares, over drinking, smoking again, doing all these different things, which weren't necessarily good for me because I was a bit broken, and so I had to go through therapy as a restorative process to get where I am now. And I believe strongly in restorative processes for lots of different things, and that's what I think we need to do. And I think it starts with education, and it does, of course, start with education. When you know shit, then you know that shit can't carry on, right? That sounds kind of vague, but it's true, isn't it? When you know, for instance, for myself, it took maybe 4 years. I'm trying to think now. 4 years before I actually went to the doctor to ask for help. And in those 4 years, I slowly lost myself more and more and more. And even though I'm talking about it in terms of me, and, you know, I'm white, so I can't understand what black people go through on a day-to-day basis, on a historical basis, because how would I know? I'm never going to know. It's not, I'm not black, I'm white. And it took 4 years for me to get to the point where I knew I needed help, so I went and sought help. And that's why, and that was being in a relationship that had lasted 3 years. So if we go by the premise that white supremacy, white privilege, white colonialism has lasted for hundreds of years, and we're only just getting to the restorative process, of course it's going to be painful. But it actually should be painful, because that's what comes before restoration, what comes before being able to move forward. You can't just suddenly go, okay, I'm done, I'm ready to move forward, say the words, and it happens. That's not what happens. Brains don't happen like that. And brains are inside us all, less for others, some others than them. So education, learning, doing something about it. And I promised, while I was doing a video the other day, that I was going to do something about it. And for me, I'm going to educate myself. And I'm going to talk about educating myself. I don't know that much about it. I know what I believe. I believe that as humans, we all matter. But that's not what the fuck we're talking about right now, are we? We're talking about Black Lives Matters. And we're talking about that because, those lives have been considered less. Yeah. So I'm going to read the 3 books I just talked about, which is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, Me and White Supremacy, and Natives, Race and Class by Akala. And I'm going to see where they take me. And I'm going to keep on learning. And I'm going to read the things that people post. And yeah, they make me uncomfortable. They make me feel a bit like humanity is broken. But I'm also very aware of as I've talked about my own life circumstances, if I can be fixed and go through a restoration process, everybody can. It's not a privilege for just one person. Restoration and healing and recognition and therapies and real change can happen, and they can happen for everybody that needs them to, everybody that wants to. You know, I did the broken bone analogy of a broken bone when it's healed is stronger. It's kind of correct, but I like to sort of think that the broken bone that is healed doesn't just go through this like a day process, does it? It's not a day to mend a broken bone. It's weeks and weeks and weeks, and in some cases it can be years, depending on where that broken bone is and what's happened to that broken bone, whether that broken bone needs pins. And this is what we should be thinking about. We should be thinking about how, as white people, can be part of making this restorative process happen. yeah. So I hope you're all doing all right. I know that life is sort of weird. And 2020, it's been a humdinger of a year so far. There are going to be, after this one, there's another 67, 66, 67, 68. No, yeah, another 4. Fucking hell. Do you know what? I don't know if I need more coffee or less coffee. I'm just feeling a bit knackered after the last few days of stuff. But I will be finishing talking bollocks on part 70. It's been great spouting shit here. Maybe there's somewhere else I can spout shit. I'm sure I will still be spouting shit or writing shit somewhere. But yeah, this time for me is sort of coming to an end. Have a lovely afternoon. I'm going to go and see what my dear daughter is cooking because it smells bloody lovely. She's making some sort of homemade chip shop curry sauce. But I know we didn't have some of the ingredients. And all I can smell, it's making me really hungry, is garlic and frying onions. And there's something amazing about the smell of garlic and frying onions, right? Yeah. But anyway, you take care, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.